But we start today on a fairly morbid note, because all eyes are on 2024 as well as President Joe Biden's age. It's the one thing the Democrats can't really fight back against because, well, we can all see it. And now Republican candidates are starting to go there. And when I say there, I'm not talking just about his age and mental decline. That's been a big topic since the man announced he was running against President Donald Trump. Here's what I mean, courtesy of Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley. Listen.
He's announced his, that he's running again in 2024. And I think that we can all be very clear and say with a matter of fact that if you vote for Joe Biden, you really are counting on a President Harris, because the idea that he would make it until 86 years old is not something that I think is likely.
Wow, there it is. Now, we've all thought that. Some of the media have even said it. I have. Because it would mean Kamala Harris, who is about the only person less qualified to be president than Joe Biden, would walk into the Oval Office. And this whole scenario really hasn't gotten much mainstream play, but in the last couple of weeks, it's become less taboo to say it out loud. And that's because the evidence is clear, my friends. President Biden's not up to the job. He's not. He wouldn't be up for the job if it was 20 years ago or even 30. The guy is a master class in failing up, something we see all too often in America these days. It's a big sign that our culture is broken, thanks to Democrats, of course. But getting back to the big picture, the media and the Democrat operatives are now starting to give in just a little bit and actually say this race is about Kamala Harris because, like Nikki Haley just said, you can't count on President Biden making it all the way through his second term. Hell, we played a clip that is this week, of his own press secretary on the day he announced he'd be running again, saying, well, she couldn't say that he'd serve all 8 years. So here's the media, specifically CNN and Van Jones, saying exactly the same thing Nikki Haley just did, albeit a bit nicer. Listen.
Everybody understands this is the oldest guy ever to run. So the VP matters a ton. She's going to be under more scrutiny, but I think she's also going to have more opportunity to prove herself.
I know that every 4 years we talk about the significance of a vice presidential pick. You and I have probably shared a CNN set on like a vice presidential debate night talking about how important it was. This time it is going to be important.
It's very important.
Like this time we're going to mean it.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, she is in such an unusual position. She's a woman. She's black. She's Asian. And she's running alongside the oldest person to ever do it. So she's essentially running for president. That's what she's doing.
So, this is what the Democrats are pivoting to. The best they have is a Republican talking point where you're really not voting for President Biden. Instead, you're voting for Kamala Harris. Because it just so happens that President Biden is too old, says Van Jones. Not a great campaign strategy if you ask me.